Here in the quiet and sleepy town of Butte Falls, there's some movement taking place. And the movement is being encouraged by activities just a half a mile outside town. Teachers and students are working together to try to create a better future. What I'm describing is the Natural Resource Center, and I'm Chris Mathis. I'm the Site Development Director. I'm responsible for pulling this all together, helping us to acquire the funding, to build partnerships, to teach our students, to connect curriculum to this site, and to bring the community closer to our work. This is the place. Wow. Wow. There's a lot more going on here than I expected to find.
Butte Falls really is an unassuming place. And here at Ernest W. Smith's historic house lies a collection of photographs and an amalgamation of his life's work.
Here's the guy right here, Ernest W. Smith, master of many occupations. He was born in 1888 in Central Point. Ernest was the first child of his pioneer parents, Edgar and Ella Smith. They probably came over on the Oregon Trail. Looks like he was a chiropractic doctor, a shipyard worker, a surveyor, a photographer, worked for the Forest Service, and he was a school teacher. Wow.
Here in 2022, it really feels a lot different than what any of these photos show. Ernest really was a man of many occupations, and a peek into his life really shows just how one man can make such a difference by committing his life's work to his community. Located 200 miles from Portland, Oregon, Butte Falls sits in the foothills of the Cascade Mountains in southern Oregon. And in the early 1900s, right around 1910, is when the first mill was being built right on Butte Falls, and the whole town after that started growing, and the lumber industry was booming for a good 50 years or so, long enough to create a town that seemingly didn't stop. Then it all came crashing down right in the middle of the 1970s when the logging industry locally and for many places in the Pacific Northwest collapsed. And even in 2022, there are still plenty of logging trucks coming through Butte Falls. It's nowhere close to what it was. Obviously, for many reasons, climate change, regulation of natural resources, because we simply couldn't log everything. It wasn't right. And though there's still a need for it, we've learned from our mistakes, I would say.
Howdy.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, doing good.
Excellent.
Michael, right?
Yes.
Yeah, nice to
Kate,
meet you.
correct?
Yeah.
All right, pleased to meet you, buddy.
All right. Yeah, nice to meet you, Michael. And am I good to record?
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah,
Sounds
perfect.
great. Hey, Kate, this is my daughter, Brianna. She lives here
Hi.
with me.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Her family lives here with me, so it's cool.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sounds good. And can we do the interview outside?
Let's do it outside. It's a great day.
Okay.
Beautiful day in Butte Falls.
Perfect. All right.
Let's do it. Yeah, I moved here in 1975 during the middle of the logging boom, really, and the corporate boom here in Butte Falls. I was lucky enough to get a job with the Forest Service, worked there for 28 years. And the private boom was going big time then, you know, big time. And then in about mid-'80s, the company town that Butte Falls is sold out to private entities, other private entities. The Medford Corporation kind of took care of this town, and then it changed when the outside entities came around. There were several hundred people working at the Forest Service, half of those seasonal. There was another 100 people working for the Medford Corporation in the woods. And really shortly after the mid-'80s and that land transfer took place, the job situation definitely went downhill. So also about the same time that the private Medco sold out, the federal land agencies were impacted really significantly by the spotted owl situation and the litigation that went on with timber sales on the public lands. So again, not only was the job market impacted, the town was impacted. It went from, in a quick decade, from a above middle class, upper middle class community to really struggling. And then again, as time progressed, you really started to see the signs in Butte Falls of a town that was being hit hard by poverty. So yeah, about the time the transition started and the economy started changing, you know, obviously my kids were around then and were growing up here, and this is my daughter Brianna, and she could probably give you a better insight on what it was like growing up in a small town here.
Yeah, I had a great childhood. When I got to high school, I had a lot of one-on-one time with my teachers, which really helped me, and I really thought my teachers cared about me because I had that one-on-one time. If I could go back, what I know now, I would take into consideration how important education is and the fact that you really only get that one opportunity of that free education growing up, and take advantage of it because you can use it in life. And I really wish I would have went to college and used that education, but the teachers here were great. And I think right now we have a really good teachers at the high school and at the elementary school, and the kids really need to take advantage of that.
Welcome to the Natural Resource Center. This is a location where we are able to teach our students with a hands-on, place-based education model. Concrete people, yes. So if concrete could ever be called delicate, it's right now. The concrete that was just poured yesterday, so it is as delicate as it can get. This site used to be one of the state's oldest fish hatcheries, and now we're going to repurpose and renovate all of the old facilities and structures into classrooms and teaching stations.
I'm Ricky Myers.
I'm Kira Milch.
We are live, and I'm going to ask you guys your first question. So, what do you guys like best about being at the NRC?
Nature.
Yeah, it's a big one. I like being out of the classroom. I learn with my hands. I like to work with my hands.
It's a lot easier to be visually doing something and learn on the spot. You'll remember it a lot easier.
Yeah, doing it with the teacher, really.
That is why I'm passing this class.
That, and it's a big experience.
Well, yeah, it's a huge opportunity sometimes. Like, I know kids that go to school that just have nothing to do with the outdoors. They're stuck inside this big classroom most of the time.
A lot of people say we're the last generations to be working outside.
That might be true. That'd be terrible.
So I'm hoping this fixes it.
Me too. or at least gets people more involved.
Yeah.
Here at the Natural Resource Center, we concentrate on resourcefulness. We're trying to build people, and we're trying to help our young people become better citizens, not just consumers. Everything we do here allows us to work with repurposed and recycled materials, recycled roofing, trees that have died, and our students are seeing how to find the importance in everything in their surroundings.
Looking back, Butte Falls is doing its best to hold on to what it still has, and there was one more shot to really change the town for the better. Enter in the Community Forest Plan.
So we're sitting right here below Butte Falls. Sits up on the hill, quarter of a mile. Right below us is Butte Falls, the actual falls, which is the namesake of the town. And we're standing in the Butte Falls Community Forest here. Yeah, the Butte Falls Community Forest Plan was written in about 2020. It was driven by the catastrophic fires we had, late fire season 2020, the Alameda fire, the North Open Chain fire up here. The plan specifically deals with fire resiliency in these 430 acres that we acquired. Our job is to reduce the stand density, reduce the bladder fuels, and make our community a fire-safe community. Yeah, the town was able to purchase this 430 acres through the help from the Trust for Public Lands, which is a state organization. They were able to work with the Forest Service and other agencies to get this community funding, grant money to purchase this land. There's no way in the world the Butte Falls City had the kind of money to purchase 430 acres of forest land. The forest management strategy here is to preserve the forest here as an old growth, certainly a mature second growth stand, which is way more fire resilient, offers potential for jobs in the future, recreation opportunities right in the area that we're here, looking at maybe a park, some camping, day use area, facilities.
The economic development plan includes the park on the site that we're at, which is just above the waterfall here. And it's going to involve 30 miles of bicycle and hiking trails that will lead from this point out into not only the 430 acres that we've acquired, but some BLM properties. So we're hoping that the improved trails are also going to be a reason for people to come to Butte Falls, and that we consider that to be part of our economic development plan. We're wrapping up the first phase of development and curriculum connection here at the Natural Resource Center. It's been an arduous 6 years, but all along the way we've had the help of our Southern Oregon University environmental science capstone students engaged in projects and doing the research that makes this forestry management facility real. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back in a couple of months, and we're going to continue to build capacity for solving our own socio-economic and environmental problems. Until then, remember, the world is what we make it.